Hello and welcome to this video in which I'll be giving you my thoughts on the songs for Latvia's Supernova 2025.
A disclaimer. Israel shouldn't be allowed to participate at the Eurovision Song Contest 2025. The shortest and simplest reason being that I find the actions of the Israeli government to be abhorrent and their broadcaster isn't a separate entity. My reasons in their entirety, however, are numerous and too detailed for a disclaimer like this, but videos closely aligning with my point of view are listed in the description. I encourage you to watch those videos and do something. Further resources are added as and when they become relevant. I'll stop addressing this when it no longer needs to be addressed.
There's a few things I'd like to get out of the way first, so if you'd like to skip to my thoughts on the songs for Supernova 2025, you can skip to this timestamp over here. I will go around to my thoughts on Supernova, but there's two other things I need to address first. The first one, I'm saying first a lot. The first one being that I'm in a kind of worse mood today. I woke up with a headache and the day's not really gone that well so far, despite it being a Spotify Wrapped day. All in all, I'm in a bit of a negative mood, which is also why I wait until all of the songs for a specific national final are out to listen to all of them, because I think 4 were released with the snippets for Latvia. So I'm glad to be listening to all of them in one day. I apologise to the Latvian artists participating in Supernova if my comments are overly critical because of my own bad mood. I don't know if that will be the case, but it could be. Secondly, I wouldn't usually be putting news at the start of a different video when it's not relevant to the country, but this is very big news. Neon have withdrawn from Eurovision 2025, so we currently no longer have a first song. Chances are that it will be Nina Zizic and Dobrodošli, but that's not been confirmed as of filming, so we don't have a first song anymore. So that also slightly changes my outlook on the Latvian songs, because I'm not directly comparing everything to clickbait. I do think it's a shame. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of clickbait by any means, but I think I did have it above average in my ranking of the Montenegrin songs compared to other Euro fans, and I was really excited to see the potential of clickbait on the Eurovision stage in Basel, so I'm really quite sad that they've withdrawn. I also personally, upon my first listen of the studio versions of the songs, didn't really get the hype of Dobrodošli, so I know Nina Zizic is known, but yeah, I'm curious to see how this will develop, what we will end up getting from Montenegro. Regarding Supernova itself now, I haven't listened to any of the songs yet. I'm about to. I am excited that Citi Zeni are back. About Just or Yours or whatever, however you pronounce it, I know nothing. I have not gotten that far back in Eurovision history yet, concretely. But Citi Zeni represented Latvia the first year that I was properly watching. And at the time, I was surprised at their non-qualification. Recently, I've rewatched it when it was announced that they are participating in Supernova again, and I can kind of see how it does look a bit like a stag do on stage, and it doesn't seem choreographed necessarily, I guess, which might have put people off if they weren't immediately hooked by the idea of the song, which I loved. And I do think the staging was fun, but I can see how it does just kind of look like a bit of a blundering mess if you don't know what you're looking at. I think that was kind of the point a little bit, but you get one chance to impress the general public and the juries in 2022, but yeah. So I'm really excited to hear their new song, and other than that I don't really know much about anyone else. I'm hoping there's a bit of a mix of English and Latvian overall, but I genuinely don't know much. So I also haven't heard any opinions yet, because I'm filming this pretty immediately upon the release of the songs. It's been a few hours, but I've not seen any opinions yet. Everyone's preoccupied with Spotify Wrapped and Neon withdrawing, so the opinions will be completely influence free. Alright then, I'm going to go listen to the songs with Robin, and then we'll be back once I've got my opinions on them. Alright, I've listened to the songs now, and I've got to be honest, I don't really have a absolutely clear standout favourite or least favourite song. The standard overall is pretty high, and I sort of don't really know how to rank them. I thought I'm just going to go through like my top 10, but really there's a very small difference between my 20th and my first song, comparatively, what should happen for 20 songs. So I'm just going to say like a word or two about each of them, I think. I did really enjoy the watermarked Supernova they've put on the images. That's fun, to let everyone have the image they want, but also make sure everyone knows it's part of Supernova. That makes sense. And it's very diverse, and there's a lot of positive comments. There's a lot of different songs that are becoming people's favourites. So This might be a bit of a bloodbath national final. Okay, some of the songs aren't liked nearly as much on my Eurovision scoreboard so far, but there's two that have got the most points, and then it really slowly dribbles down. Greta with Monster is the absolute favourite right now, followed by City Zeni with Ramtai with quite a few points, and then we've got Tautu Meitas with Burman Laimi is in third. The Ludwig with Lido is fourth, and Juliana with Something in the Water is fifth. And then we keep going. Currently, Palu and Tom's Kalderowskis are the least favourites. That's Domayu Tunach from Tom's, and from Palu, Delusional. Honestly, I think this is a pretty open national final. I think the staging will be immensely important. So that's exciting and interesting. Alright, I am going to go backwards though from my 20th spot. But this is just gut feeling right now. The staging will absolutely change everything, and if I'd listened on a different day, I could have ranked the songs differently. So this is my 20 to number 1, but barely. So take that with massive grains of salt. Right now in 28th, I've got Chemical from Ruta Duduma, which is intriguing, but to me, the electro explosion at the end was unwanted. I guess it was kind of necessary though, but not really wanted for me. Then I've got Lovable by Marta, which was repeating itself a bit too much, but it was a nice sound, a bit like the Bleachers. I liked it. Then I've got Greta Monster. I wasn't nearly as much of a fan of this as everyone else was, but it does have a specific audience, and it does appeal to a young sound. It's got a young sound, so I get it. It's fine. I wouldn't hate it at Eurovision, but not by any means. Then I've got Domayu Tunach by Tom's Kalderowskis. I thought it was a pretty strong male ballad. It definitely stands out because it's the only one in the national final, but it didn't really blow me away. But I did like the voice. I think the voice is powerful, so well done, Tom's, on that. Then I've got Ligo by the Ludwig, which I would have liked more if it wasn't a blend of the two genres. I know blending genres is really loved, and it sometimes makes sense. To me, this doesn't really work. I really like the traditional parts, not really the EDM parts, but there's going to be people who like it. There are people who like it. There's a lot of positive comments about it, so it's interesting, at the very least. Then I've got Bigger Than This by Marcus Riva, which is fine, but a little bit cringe lyrics. I like the sounds. The English pronunciation is also not fantastic. It's good enough, but that always throws me a little bit as well, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Marcus. Then I've got Scarlet Challenger by Katrina Gupalo, which was very interesting. I do not know what to make of it. It sounds a little bit Disney-like, but it's got really strange lyrics to me. Maybe I'm missing something about what the song is actually about, but I just couldn't really come to terms with what it's meant to be about. Musically, it sounds interesting enough. Then I've got The Water by Bel Tempo and Lex Dina, which is definitely interesting. It's a little bit indie. There's a guy singing in the middle, but not really any other part of the song, which will be interesting and difficult to stage. But with a great staging, it could really, really work. Then I've got Electric Love by Adelina, which sounds very basic. There's nothing so special about it anywhere. If it's performed well, it could do well, but it needs to be performed well to do well. Then I've got Something in the Water by Juliana, which a lot of people do like, or Juliana, I'm not sure. I didn't love it on this first listen. It's not my style of music at all, but the voice sounds like a really, really strong voice, so I'm excited to hear what it sounds like live. And it really needs a great staging because it doesn't really go anywhere musically. But once again, it could really work. There's a lot going for the staging in terms of Supernova 2025. So I'm excited to see what will actually happen in February. Up next is Heartbeat by Emilia for me. Once again, sounds fairly basic, but there's a lot of potential and it could sound cool live with a good performance. To me, it sounds like it belongs in Dance Melody Grand Prix, but it's fine. I can listen to it. Then I've got Bound by the Light by Synergia, which was very entrancing, mystical. It's not really my kind of style, once again. I thought a lot of these songs are strong, just not really my style, but it is really strong, I think, Bound by the Light. If this is the kind of thing that you like, this is a really strong song in that kind of area. I've then got Delusional by Paolo, which I think the vocal is a bit weak in the studio version. Maybe it can get better for February, and totally blow me away, transform the song. But it has a cool end and interesting sound effects, so I can definitely live with it. Then I've got Stronger by Luca. It builds nicely, but it would need great staging to really work. And to me, it gets better than the start was. I prefer the second half of the song, definitely. And then I've got Burman Laimi by Tautu Meitas. I do not speak Latvian, I apologise. It's a very fascinating sound. And I thought I was going to put it lower, and then the end kind of caught me, and I was like, actually, I do really enjoy this. So it's definitely mesmerising in some kind of way, where the end definitely saved the song for me, even though it's not that different. But it was very, very interesting to listen to. Then I've got Zeld by Cobra, which is very, very interesting. Reminds me of Kur from last year, a little bit. It's got loads of potential, heaps of potential. It could be really, really magical on stage. The voices go together well, the production's great. I'm not sure what it's about. I would like to know what it's about, because that would really determine if I love it or if I just like it. Then I've got Citizeni in my 4th spot. It's the 4th song I also listened to. Ramtai is interesting. Not sure what it's about still, but I enjoyed the sound. I think musically it's maybe stronger than Eat Your Salad. I'm curious about the staging, because Eat Your Salad didn't really have a staging. Had a cool music video, but not a great staging. So I'm curious to see what will happen. Then I've got Fit Right by Justs, which I enjoyed more than I thought I would. It's a kind of music that I would really, really, really love 10 years ago, but I still love it. It's got a bit of a TikTok sound and slightly basic lyrics, but I really enjoyed listening to it, and it could have a fun staging. I like it. I like it more than I thought I would, especially considering I don't really know just other Eurovision songs, so well done. Then I've got a song which I thought would be my number 1 when I first listened to it. It's Romance Isn't Dead by Chris Noah. I was surprised by this. Very surprised by this. The only thing stopping it from being my number 1 is that the title is clunky in the chorus. The syllables don't quite match up with the beat of Romance Isn't Dead. It's also a little bit slow overall for me, but the voice is really cool to me. The lyrics are okay, but it's really my style of music. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I listen to elsewhere, usually more rocky as well and faster, but this is exactly in the right vibe. So I really, really enjoyed it. Would really quite like to see it at Eurovision. But I have for now put a different song at number 1, and that is Sadzayot by Tepat. I'm sure that pronunciation is very bad, but the first thing I wrote down is that it's got nice brass sounds. And then as the song develops, the production is really complex, and I really, really enjoyed it. I love the end. At 1:52 or so, it really just like blew me away. And overall, it's just really, really cool. I really liked it. That's a song that I'm taking away as my number 1 for now, but it is very staging dependent for Supernova 2025 for my ratings. And I'm not really entirely sure who I actually would like to win, because I'd love a song in Latvian, as ever, so that would point to Sadzayot, but I also am very curious about the staging for Romance Isn't Dead, and I think Citizeni do deserve a second chance. Not sure what the song is about still, just in general, I think they've got potential. And there's so many other talented artists that Latvia have put forward, so I really don't know who I'd like to win. As I say, the fan favourite right now does seem to be Greta with Monster. That'd also be fine if she's got a good staging. If she doesn't, I don't really want that song, because I think Monster is the kind of song that really does benefit from a great staging. But all in all, very impressed with the songs for Supernova 2025. Well done, Latvia. You can be proud of yourselves. And now over to you. What do you think about the songs for Supernova 2025? Please leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and also literally like the video if you did like it. Share it with someone else you think might find it enjoyable to watch, and subscribe if you'd like to see more of my Eurovision 2025 and beyond content. All in all though, just thank you ever so much for watching the video itself. That's a great help as it is. I really do hope that you enjoyed it, that got something out of it. I'll see you in the next one of those up on your feed. Bye! I forgot to move the trophy in shot. It was right here, but I don't know. Now it's in shot, I guess. Ah, and now the flags are down. Ugh.